I'll have to get through training, but it's pretty positive. Did a little session with him yesterday, and he feels back to 100%. So, he's got to get through training, but we expect him to return.
So he actually has COVID.
Uh, Probably let the cat out of the bag there. Yeah.
Are you cognizant of that when you pick them about how they're going to be feeling?
Yep. Yeah, treat everyone individually, and everyone it's affecting each of our players and coaches differently. And we just need to treat it with the respect it deserves.
Griffin Lloyd, where's he at? He didn't play, so does that mean he can't play this weekend, or will you need him?
In terms of what?
Did he not play last week?
He didn't play last week.
Yeah, so does he have to need a full game somewhere else?
Well, come down to selection, but we came out of the game without any injuries. So we'll work through that later this Savo, but he'll definitely play a game of footy somewhere. We'll have to work through it. I think shooters in our best 22. But happy with the way Banners went on the weekend. 4 scoring shots. Played his role really well. So, we'll just have to weigh that up later on. But it's not just the effort. I've been impressed with all his game, except for the bit he usually does really, really well, and that's just finishing off in front of goals. And what can happen sometimes is players shift their focus to the finishing part and they forget what's actually getting them the shots. So my message is just to reaffirm he's doing a lot right and remember what's important in his role and keep working on the finishing, and that'll come. But can't lose sight of these impressive contest pressure, running patterns, his ability to find the footy, all that sort of stuff is in really good order. So just reaffirm that with him.
He also draws a great
Yeah, well, he does. Yep. Yeah, he's still a concern to the opposition, and that's part of the message I'm selling to him. He's helping all the other forwards. He's leading really well and communicating and organising us really well in the forward line. So he's doing a lot right.
Feel like a big game?
Just feels like another game, really. And that's the thing in clubland. You sort of build games up or hype games up. It's trying to keep as consistent approach to every game as possible, because if we get our behaviours week in, week out really consistent, then our performance will replicate that as individuals and as a team. So we don't want the highs and lows. We want a really even, consistent performance week in, week out. So we approach this game just like we approached last week.
Harry Mackay and Charlie Curnow a different threat for you to deal with?
Yeah, absolutely. Feel like our backs are in really good form, so it's a great challenge for them, especially our tall defenders. Pearcey and Coxie were great for us last week, and that challenge steps up for them this week. And we need to limit the supply they get. They're getting really good supply from their midfield, so we need to limit that to help our backs out. But our backs are looking forward to the challenge.
The mix, do you feel like the mix in the back six is right? Like, their presence change the way you approach?
Probably not. We feel like we've got a good mix of being able to defend the tools and defend ground level at the moment. And probably early in the year, and especially against the Saints, we were probably a little bit too top heavy in that and didn't defend well at ground level. And the last 3 weeks, when we've changed our mix, it's looked a lot safer back there. So we'll continue to roll out that same back six.
Adam Cherry's obviously got a lot of mates here. Would you prefer everyone to be amicable and friendly during the game, or does he get a bit of hostility?
I think every player on our list will treat him like an opposition player. They won't treat him like a mate once we step over. Maybe after the game they might text him, but I expect all our players to treat him like an opposition player.
What about the fans? What sort of reaction do you reckon the fans will have?
I'm not sure. I'm not into telling our fans how to act. So I'll leave that up to them.
Would you be disappointed if they booed on Glen Hall game?
I don't think. Like I said, it's not really my call what our fans do and what they think of Ches leaving the club. I don't think there'll be hope they don't cheer him, but I hope they don't. Yeah, it's just an interesting concept because he in the end he went to another club and he's coming back home to play against us. So I think they'll treat him how they want to treat him, and I don't think there's ever any real hostility in it. And this bit of Bronx cheering here and there is good for the game. So we'll see how it rolls out. We need to put a bit of time into him. He's clearly one of the best stoppage players in the comp, and just his size is it's hard to handle. So we're pretty happy with our mids at the moment. We'll pay him the right attention at stoppage and try and nullify his influence, and then try and challenge them in the right way as well. So I think we don't want to get too defensive, and we want to find the right balance between trying to challenge them back the other way, because we feel like our midfield over the last couple of weeks has got good continuity, and they're playing with a good system, and we need to get that balance right as well.
Can you address Adam's
No.
And last year there was, you also spoke about like seeing how some of the working for college and how can you sort that out this year?
I think it's just really important that we keep resetting each week and anchoring each week into what's important in our game, and that's both individually, what's important in each player's role, and what's important to us as a club. So we've tried to make that front of mind. We've tried to make sure we review that, train that, and prepare for that. And we understand as a club the challenges, especially on field, are ahead of us. So we need to maintain that. Yeah, absolutely. Our forward line's hard to crack into at the moment, but him, Schultz comes back. Joel Weston, before his injury, was in really good form. Feel like we've got a good group of small forwards there that are challenging each other to be their best, and Sturdy fits in that mould.
From midfield at the moment too, when Fife returns, do you see him going back to midfield or maybe moving forward a bit?
Our plan all along was to play Fifey majority midfield. That hasn't changed at the moment. We've still got a bit of time to work through that, but the plan hasn't changed.
Nathan Wilson close?
Close. Yeah, he probably fits in the same bill as Sturdy. Like we're in good form down back. Griff's been unlucky to miss out. Wilson's been unlucky to miss out. Joel Hemling's playing some good footy. So while the team's winning and everyone's performing their role, it's hard to change. But they just need to keep knocking on the door and keep controlling what they can control, and that's their performances at Peel. And so far they're doing that.
And how impressed have you been with Nathan Wilson playing lots of 200 games already? How impressed have you been with his performance?
I've been really impressed with the way he stepped up to AFL footy. Yeah, he's handled it with really good composure. He's accepted every challenge, and obviously he's performing his role really well. He seems like a young fella who doesn't get flustered by the situation, and he's handled it really well. So and the most impressive thing has been his willingness to learn and get better, and I haven't seen that approach change since he's been playing AFL. So he's been impressive.
Carlton have given up 2 big leads in the last couple of weeks, but their starts have been pretty good. How do you approach a team that seems to sort of fade out of games? And you guys have been finishing games really strongly. So how do you approach that?
Well, we always prepare for the opposition's best. So if we can handle their best, then we hopefully can handle all aspects of their game. So that doesn't change. Their best is very good. The last thing you want to do is let them get off to a really strong start and be chasing the scoreboard. So we've focused mainly on that part.
And there's been a lot of discussion about the dissent to umpires, 50-metre penalties. Have you had discussions with your players? Is there confusion amongst them about what constitutes dissent and how do you approach it? Because obviously there's just natural frustration in decision making at themselves and at the umpires. How do you address that?
It's pretty easy to address, really. Never seen an umpire change his decision, so just accept it and move on. And that's what we tell our players to do after mistakes and a lot of different situations on the field. And umpiring is no different. the 3 or 4 seconds you waste looking at the umpires with your arm is out is something that you could be doing something else in the game to help us win the ball back. So the message hasn't really changed to them. Just move on from decisions, mistakes, and get on with it.
Would you like to see more consistency amongst what is penalised and what isn't?
I think we'll see that. And I think whether you disagree or agree with the hands out rule, I don't think it's pretty clear that you can't do that now. So the message to the players is just move on, don't do it. Man the mark like you're supposed to man the mark, and get on with it.
So you're happy for that? That's the 50?
Mate, whether I'm happy with it or not, that's the rules that the AFL have prescribed, and we operate under the AFL rules. So let's get on with it. Like, I can't really sit here and me disagreeing with it or agreeing with it. It's not going to change anything. So that's the rules they've implemented. That's the clarity they've given us. So let's apply it.
When you played Carlton last year, and Rachel, how have you seen the past year his ability to handle the tag and teammates?
I think he's embraced it, handled it really well, and he's shifted his attention to helping the team win those situations. And quite often when a team tags as hard as they tag Andy, you can manipulate it, and they have to give something else up. And Andy's been really good at exposing that, and just is building his endurance to become such an elite runner that he's able to break tags second half of games with his work rate. So been really impressed with the way he's embraced it, handled it, and had a real great team first approach to it. No, we're not. We've had to separate the playing group today, and you'll see when you turn around there's only about 23 players training, and that's mainly based on the back of the waffle situation, and a lot of our players played at Peel on the weekend, and we just really need to mitigate that risk. So we've split our playing group up to mitigate some risk around those players that played at waffle. And we'll probably have to do that, especially early in the week, for foreseeable future. And it's not the ideal situation for the camaraderie you're trying to build at a footy club, but we need to mitigate a bit of risk.
Are you aware of any protocols, or is it
Connor Blakely has entered protocol, so he'll be out this week. So that's on the back of our decision making, and hopefully what we've been able to do with our risk mitigation has stopped that from spreading.